Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. Welcome back for another episode of Movie Breakdown. I'm Zach.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for episode 10, double digits.
Ooh, getting up there.
Getting up there. Tonight we're talking about Unforgiven, 1992 Western film directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, and Morgan Freeman.
Nice little triumvirate there.
Absolutely. Legendary. Won a few prestigious awards, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor for Gene Hackman. So that just says all you have to say about this film. Phenomenal accolades. So the plot is about three outlaws, so to speak, two of which, Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman, are retired. They're kind of getting up there in age.
Just kind of farming now.
Yeah,
just
they
trying to relax.
Living a simple life. They're not what they used to be, and they don't want to be what they used to be. But the third one, the Schofield kid, he wants the glory and the money that they attained in their days. He wants to be like them. And so he kind of coaxes them out of retirement in order to get this $1,000 reward for killing these two guys who cut up a prostitute. And they set off to do that. And let's get into it. What were your impressions with this film?
Long time ago, I remember, I think in middle school, I really liked this movie, and I just loved the ending, how you finally get to see Clint Eastwood rampage after the whole movie. He's like, I don't want to do this. You're like, yes, do it. But yeah, it's really fun. There's a good time, and there's moments where you especially feel horrible watching it.
I think it's, of all the Westerns I've seen, it's one of the more character-driven ones. It's really a character study on a couple fronts. It focuses on Clint Eastwood's character, William Money, really like his struggle with, I don't want to be what I used to be, but I might have to be. Yeah. And Gene Hackman's Little Bill, the sheriff, it kind of subverts your expectations. The sheriff is supposed to be the good guy. And he's not the good guy.
No, not right now.
He's kind of a bad dude, and he uses the law to his advantage in order to do these awful things.
He's definitely not John Wayne up there.
No. So that's a big aspect of this film, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But first, who's your favorite actor? Who does the best acting job in this film?
I think it's Gene Hackman, hands down. It's like he can go from explosive to subtle to just off the cuff talking about roofs, and you're like, this is enthralling.
Yeah, I agree. He's really unpredictable, and he can be scary. Mm-hmm. One particular moment, it's a little small moment, but when he's sitting in his house and there's water dripping down because it's raining, and the writer guy, he's like, oh, we should have hung the carpenter, and
like, what?
Yeah, he's like, what? And he just gets all serious, like he's gonna blow his brains out. And you're like, oh my god.
You're like, dude, he's the carpenter. Yeah. Shut up.
And then he realizes it, and he's like, oh, never mind. But he just has a tendency to just get violent, like in a snap, and just an incredible character.
And it works so well, too.
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes that abruptness does not play, but he makes it work.
He does a great job. We alluded to this just a second ago, but he's supposed to be the good guy by all rights. In Westerns, the sheriff is the good guy, and Clint Eastwood's character in this film would be the bad guy, but that's not how it is. It's flipped.
Yeah, you see the sheriff going to take the guns from the outlaw of English Bob, and like, yeah, good job, go get him. And then he starts just destroying him in the street, like, kicking him down. You're like, oh god. Yeah,
like I think that's the first time where you really understand that he's not a great guy. In the opening scene, he does he lets the men that cut the prostitute up, he lets them off a little easy. He does penalize them. I was just thinking, okay, he wants to avoid bloodshed. He doesn't want anyone to die.
He wants to satisfy the guy who owns the slave girl.
I mean, it's kind of messed up, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen done. But then he goes and he beats the crap out of a man who just turned his weapons over to you. Yeah, like English Bob isn't a great dude, but I don't think he deserved to get the pulp beaten out of him. So that's just an interesting way that the film kind of diverts your expectations in a good way. I liked it. I think that it's important to not always stick to the status quo.
Things aren't always good and bad. There's a lot of neutral, gray, murky areas in there where you'll find people actually do lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Additionally, this kind of this film really puts an emphasis on the weight of murder. Murder is no small thing. And almost every character is faced with a choice in this film, to take a life or to not take a life. Some of them can do it, but I don't think really any of them can do it effortlessly, with the exception of Little Bill.
Little Bill just has a good time doing it.
Yeah. But off the cuff. Ned, Morgan Freeman's character, can't do it
at all. Nope. He just puts his gun down and gives it to Clint Eastwood. Like, I can't do it. I can barely bear to hear it.
The Schofield kid does it, and he talked a big game before doing it, but after he killed that guy, he didn't want any part of it. He's like, I'm never going to do this again. And he was bawling, and it was horrifying to see. And William Money, Clint Eastwood's character, he reluctantly kills and goes on a rampage, like you said, but he doesn't really want to, and he has to get himself drunk to do it.
Yeah, he absolutely has to numb himself. The only time we see him not drunk while killing is the gut shot to one of the guys that he is bounty for, and that guy's like heartbreakingly crying out for water and for his friends, and you can see Clint Eastwood's like, oh God,
get him some water, God damn it, I won't shoot. Yeah, he doesn't like, he legitimately doesn't shoot the guy's friends so that he can get him some water, and it's you see the strain, like you see the pain and the strain and the regret on their faces as they're just watching this poor kid screaming. Yeah. And it's a tough scene.
Clint Eastwood's character has a lot of demons. Like when he was going through feverish dreams, like he was remarking on how he saw
the angel of death,
old friends, and like Hendershot with his head like blown open, and it's a little rough to hear sometimes. And you just think about all the things that he's seen before.
I think that they crafted his character very realistically and with care, and it's true. You see all these action films where guys just get blown away right and left, and there's no thought to that was a life that just got extinguished. And this film really puts a microscope on that.
There's a really great line William Money, Clint Eastwood's character, says where he goes, taking a life is, maybe paraphrasing here, but like taking away everything they've ever had and everything they ever will. Yeah. Because guess what? Like, that person's irrelevant now in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, they're gone. This film strikes true there. So this also kind of is a reflection on Clint Eastwood as his career at this point. Yeah. He's at this point, 1992, he's about around 60, and he's not in his prime anymore.
No, he's kind of past it, but you know, just like William Money, he's had a long past of being an incredibly aggressive, strong murderer in most of his roles.
He did a lot of westerns, made his bread and butter on westerns, and I think this is him saying that, now that I'm gonna do more than westerns, I'm not gonna just do that, but I'll always be known for my westerns. Like that's where he built his name, and
like even in this movie, like you'll see moments where he's like straight up not intimidating at all. So like when he's feverish and Little Bill is kicking the shit out of him, he's like just trying to lie his way out of it, but he does not fight back. He's not Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing for someone to do. When you're so used to being the unstoppable hero, like, can you imagine that happening to like John Wayne or like Arnold Schwarzenegger in their prime? Like, it's just like these guys, nothing touches them. They just obliterate anything usually. And then for Clint Eastwood to show himself in such a feeble and frail light.
And don't forget, like, you know, he directed this himself. It's like he's the man who chose exactly how to portray all these things, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a short little break. We'll be back for Yeah or Nine. Stick around, folks.
The Duck of Death.
Duke.
The Duke, Bill. Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
I'll have that 32, Bob.
Now, little Bill, you will leave me at the mercy of my enemies.
Enemies, Bob. You've been talking about the Queen again? On Independence Day?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Yeah or Nine. Let's do this. JT, show them the cards.
We say yeah if we liked it, or no if we really didn't.
All right, let's dive right on in with, we'll start with William Money as a character.
Main character, yeah.
Yeah. I just think he's so well built, so well developed. I love his arc. I think it's very meaningful, impactful, and it's kind of a bittersweet ending.
Yeah. My only caveat, which is really nitpicky, is that sometimes he says it a little too many times. Like, I don't want to be that guy anymore. Like, yeah, I get that. Like, sometimes you do gotta hammer that home in order for the final message to work. So Great character.
And on to Little Bill. Again,
Little Bill.
he gets a big
Yeah,
yah.
good TV show too.
Yeah, this is a prequel. But Little Bill, just what else can he say? He's a dangerous man who uses the law to his advantage, and really just mesmerizing to watch.
So much fun. Like, pick up the gun.
There's honestly like villains are the most fun. If I could speak, villains like anytime you get a great villain, it's just a lot of fun to sit down and watch. On to Ned, Morgan Freeman's character. I'm gonna say I wish that there were more of him. He gets killed off about toward the end, off screen, and
that's probably the worst part. I would have liked to have seen him die.
Yeah, he just felt like he went out with a whimper, and you didn't get to see enough of him. Morgan Freeman's a fantastic actor, real icon, and it's just a bummer.
Just a little bit more, maybe him dying, or maybe like another few moments where they conflict over having to murder people rather than just him leaving.
Yeah,
right away.
and I mean the moments we got from him were great. I after he couldn't shoot the guy dead, you really see the pain and the fear on his face.
He's just hearing him screaming. He's like, oh.
I mean, he did shoot the horse and broke the guy's leg, so he was involved in it, and he just couldn't do it anymore. And the pain in his eyes is a beautiful thing.
Good job, Morgan.
Yeah, as always. And on to the Schofield kid. I'm gonna say because of the final scene. I think throughout the film he was kind of an insufferable jerk.
And then you kind of realize, like, hey, he's putting on a huge front.
He's just a kid.
Yeah. And he just wants money, and you're like, that's maybe not the way to go about it at your age.
Yeah,
but
it definitely pays off at the end for me. And English Bob is next. I like English Bob.
I'm going to give it a yeah.
He was charismatic and charming, and I always liked when he was on screen. We didn't get too much of him.
I do enjoy seeing people get really cocky and then getting absolutely destroyed. Like, he's like, let's go to the saloon and like get some ladies, and then there's 6 men with guns pointing at me. Yeah,
that idea goes out the coop really quickly, and I had fun watching him. Him and Gene Hackman were great in the scene together. It's kind of like a power struggle that Gene Hackman's character ultimately
like he doesn't
wins.
pick up the gun, and then Gene Hackman just lets all the bullets drop out. I was like, it was loaded. I could have killed him.
Of course it's loaded. Little Bill isn't a coward. And on to cinematography. I like the cinematography. Yeah. There aren't too many major moments where I can point to and say that was beautiful, but well-crafted film, well shot. It looks great.
Done well in general. I can think of a few like sunset-y timed scenes.
The opening scenes.
Yeah.
The sunset, like everything's in like a silhouette. It looks really good.
And actually, some of the very few snow scenes I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I thought they were very pretty.
And they have some of the traveling scenes as well, where you've got like the wheat fields, and a well shot film. Moving on to music, I'm actually gonna give music a 9.
9.
I like the main theme that plays during the opening and the closing of the film. Not much in between. I don't remember much between.
Yeah, it's funny because, typical spaghetti westerns, you have music that really defines the movie.
Yeah.
Because if you watch a spaghetti western without music and people are doing standoffs, it's just a bunch of people staring and then looking a little bit to the right. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what's going on? But then you get the, whoa! And you're like, ooh, okay.
I like this. Yeah.
Wasn't a ton of this in that one.
It's kind of absent. It was weird, but I oddly didn't care, I think, when I was watching the film.
That may be because there's less conflict, like a lot less shooting going on than your typical Western, so we don't have to use it.
It's a more cerebral Western, but I didn't mind the lack of music. When it was there, I didn't care that much. On to sets. I think the sets were fine. I don't have too much high praise for the sets. I mean, it looked like a Western. And nothing was too jarring and took me out of it. I think it was fine.
I think everything did a great job. Like, even the main village, like, at some point looked really nice.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, this looks like people would live there still.
So, yeah, solid from us. And the ending.
Oh, boy.
I like the ending a lot.
Yeah.
Not so much for we'll get into this next, actually. Not so much for the action, but for like the culmination of the emotional weight that just comes crashing together there.
When he's talking about Ned dying, and he keeps repeating the same thing the girl says over and over, and she's like, yeah, and then says this, and he goes, wait, this? And he's like, yeah, and then this, and he's like, oh god, and then he just starts to take a drink, and you're like, Oh no,
He's doing it.
he's been sober forever.
He's doing it. Yeah. Why would they kill Ned? He didn't kill anybody. He's just it's really just a perfect ending to this film. Anyways, moving on to action. This is my other 9. It wasn't the strongest suit from this movie. I thought a lot of the cuts during the shootouts, specifically at the end, were slow. I thought it should have gone. They were all really slow to draw their guns. Like as soon as he misfires the shotgun, it takes. There's a good like 5 seconds before everyone starts shooting.
It's like fired. Everybody's like, he goes like, okay, get him, and like no one else had the initiative to just cock and then shoot. And then also, it's a Smith and Wesson. He fires, pulls back, fires, pulls back, fires, pulls back. It's like it doesn't really get faster than that, especially if you're older.
Yeah. I just thought that they could have sped it up a bit. Maybe had it bigger in scale. I didn't
drawn out longer a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
You don't different area than just the saloon and everybody's right here.
You don't want to go too long, but yeah. And I also wasn't a huge fan of like, oh, little Bill's dead. No, he's not.
Like I'll see you in hell.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, let's kill him now.
But I don't really like fake out deaths too much. Like if you're gonna kill someone, kill him. But ultimately, that's just what I thought. I don't think it hinders the movie too much. It's not really about the action.
Yeah, no, it's just about like you said earlier, the culmination of all that character building up, and then oh no, we got to flip back.
So that was Yar 9. We will be right back to wrap this thing up, folks. Don't go away.
Come on. What's this for? Snakes and such? Yeah. We don't have any snakes in here, Mr. Henderson. Well, ain't loaded or powder's wet. You see, Mr. Beauchamp? This is the kind of trash I... Get out! You find this kind in all the saloons in all your prosperous communities. Wichita? Over in Cheyenne? Abilene? But you won't find them in the town of Big Whiskey.
Welcome back, folks. Let's finish this thing. All right, Jacob, what do you think about this film? Where does it rank in the grand scheme of Westerns?
I think it is my favorite Western, and that's honestly not hard to say because I genuinely don't like Westerns that much.
For me, it's probably number 2 or 3. I like Once Upon a Time in the West. That's my favorite Western. This one is up there. I think this is 3 because I like The Wild Bunch more.
All right.
So this is a great film. It's different from other Westerns. It's kind of like the black sheep of Westerns. I think it's a lot different. It subverts expectations.
What do you mean we shouldn't murder?
It's more it's more cerebral. It's deeper, and I appreciate that. It kind of takes a different turn from its genre. And moving on to Misfired. Mm-hmm. What are some things that you thought could have been changed for the better in this film?
More Morgan Freeman.
Absolutely.
I think most movies could use that.
Even movies that don't have him. Just throw him in there.
More English Bob would have been nice. I think he was a fun character, and he didn't need to get sent away right away. Maybe he could have come back.
Yeah, I think that the ending should have been bigger in scope. Not so much emotionally, just like the set piece, maybe not in the saloon, maybe out in the rain. That would have been cool. And then maybe you could have had like English Bob and team up with Clint Eastwood, and then maybe not kill Morgan Freeman so soon and whatnot. But I don't know. I just think that the ending should have been a bigger climax than it was.
Something a little bit different.
Yeah, but that's really it. I don't think that tarnishes the movie too much. What are you gonna give this movie on a scale from 1 to 10?
Well, I had fun. There's some nitpicky issues like action, and that somewhat made the final conflict like a little bit less fun for me. But I had a great time, great message, and I love seeing like people get cocky, get shit on, like English Bob and Schofield Kid. They get shit on basically. So I think it's probably a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm really close to you. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. just a great, fun movie that really makes you think and makes you consider why killing is so brutal. And it really, you feel for the characters, with the exception of Little Bill. He's not a very sympathetic character, but I thought the characters were great. I thought that the story was great, and not much bad to say about this movie.
Not really.
So next week we're going to be talking about an all-time great film, The Godfather. It's going to be fun. I've just recently watched this movie for the first time. Shame on me.
Yeah.
I'd
only just seen it a couple years ago.
We're going to watch it again, and we're going to talk about it next week. So join us next week for that.
Alrighty.
We hopefully will see you then. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want. It's a free country. Totally up to you. But that's it. So thank you guys. We're going to peace out now.
Bye.
Bye.